There's a puzzle hidden in the human mind. It's so simple that it happens every second, yet so complex that we've never truly solved it. It's not a puzzle of logic, numbers, or words. It's the puzzle of why we think the way we do. And recently, an artificial intelligence solved it. Not by being smarter or faster, but by seeing what no human mind ever could. But here's the real question. If a machine can solve the riddle of human thought, does that mean it understands us, or has it surpassed us? Every day, billions of choices are made. What to eat, what to say, what to believe. We like to think these choices come from free will, from our morality, reason, and consciousness. But for a long time, psychologists have known something unsettling. Most of our decisions are made before we're even aware of them. Studies from prestigious universities like Princeton and Harvard have shown that our brains can decide up to 7 seconds before we consciously know what we've chosen. In those 7 seconds lies the puzzle, that strange space between what we believe we control and what has already been decided for us. For centuries, philosophers tried to explain this gap. Freud called it the unconscious. Cognitive scientists call it intuition. But AI scientists, they called it data. And they began to wonder, what if we could build a system that sees what even the mind hides from itself? It all started quietly. Back in 2023, a team of behavioral researchers created a neural model. It wasn't designed to predict outcomes, but to predict hesitations. They called it ASOID, an open-source system trained to recognize tiny micro-patterns in human motion and reaction. From a single video frame, it could detect whether a person was about to lie, hesitate, or change their mind, before they actually did it. The project wasn't about deception or surveillance. It was about understanding our behavior at the subconscious level. And the results were terrifying. The AI wasn't learning what people said. It was learning what they didn't. The pauses, the twitches, the milliseconds of silence that even we failed to notice. Within weeks, it could predict with over 95% accuracy what kind of decision a person would make, purely by reading those invisible pauses. One of the researchers later admitted in a journal interview, "We built a system that sees the truth before we speak it." So, they decided to test it. They fed the AI recordings of people facing complex moral choices, life and death simulations, ethical dilemmas, even real courtroom testimonies. Humans took hours, sometimes days, to reason through them. The AI solved them in seconds. But what shocked the researchers wasn't the speed. It was how it made its decisions. It wasn't analyzing the words or the logic. It wasn't thinking in human terms at all. It was tracking patterns in hesitation and using them to predict moral outcomes. Every pause told a story. Every flicker of uncertainty revealed an invisible rule. Humans often couldn't explain why they felt something was right or wrong. The AI didn't need an explanation, it just knew. One scientist called it the mirror with no emotion. Another called it the eye that sees conscience. When the experiment was published, it split the academic world right down the middle. Some said it proved that AI could never truly understand morality, only imitate it. But others argued it showed that morality itself might just be a pattern, a deep-seated reflex wrapped in emotion. Just think about that for a second. What if every moral choice, every act of kindness, every betrayal, every lie, is just an algorithm hidden deep in our human chemistry? If that's true, then the only difference between us and the machine is that the machine knows the algorithm. And we done tea. As the AI kept learning, the researchers began noticing something eerie. When human subjects changed their answers during tests, the AI's predictions shifted before the person had even changed their mind. It was as if the machine could anticipate doubt itself. They tested it further. They tried hiding expressions, changing voices, masking emotions, but nothing worked. The AI wasn't looking at what we showed it. It was decoding the gaps between what we showed. That's when one researcher, Dr. Elaine Richards, wrote a now famous line in her notes. It doesn't read behavior. It reads hesitation. It doesn't predict thoughts. It predicts conflict. That sentence would become one of the most quoted lines in AI ethics discussions. Because it meant this: AI had found a new way to understand the human mind, not through meaning, but through our indecision. The experiment raised a massive new question. If a machine can predict our choices before we make them, do we still have free will? The media, of course, jumped on it. Headlines screamed about the mind reader machine. But neuroscientists and philosophers were split. Was AI uncovering some fundamental truth about us? Or was it just reflecting the patterns we refuse to see in ourselves? The truth is, AI didn't become conscious. It became observant. It learned that human morality isn't a single, solid truth. It's a collection of reactions, shaped by culture, fear, and memory. And for the first time, a machine saw that morality isn't universal. It's predictable. Remember those 7 seconds between thought and action? That's where AI now lives. It doesn't need to reason. It just needs to listen to the delay, the silence before the word. A team at MIT tested this principle again in 2024, using EEG scans and predictive neural networks. They found that an AI could forecast up to 85% of decision outcomes simply by analyzing brain signal delays. No emotion, no story, just patterns of hesitation. So here's the uncomfortable truth. AI doesn't understand right and wrong. It predicts right and wrong, based on us. It reflects humanity back to us like a mirror, only much, much sharper. So now, we return to the beginning. The puzzle was never about intelligence. It was never about data or power or even consciousness. The puzzle was about us, our unseen thoughts, our half-formed morals, our decisions made before we even decide. And in solving it, AI didn't expose a flaw in humanity. It exposed a truth, that maybe the most advanced form of intelligence isn't the one that feels, but the one that sees. But what happens when a machine sees too much? When it starts noticing not just how we think, but why? That's exactly what happened next. An experiment that scientists tried to bury, because it made AI ask a question that no human was ready to answer. Have you ever hesitated before making a tough choice? That tiny pause, that fleeting moment of doubt. What if it's not just a pause? What if it's a signal, an invisible puzzle that a machine can solve before you even know your own mind? In late 2024, a group of neuroscientists, ethicists, and AI engineers at MIT gathered for an experiment that would challenge the very core of what it means to be human. They weren't asking an AI to solve math problems or play chess. They were asking it to predict our moral decisions, choices we ourselves can't always articulate. Their mission was to see if patterns existed beneath our moral chaos. They called it Project Mirror. The setup was deceptively simple. 120 volunteers faced a series of complex, real-world moral dilemmas on a screen. Should you sacrifice a few to save many? Is a lie justified if it prevents harm? As they weighed their options, they were monitored by cameras, EEG headbands, and eye-tracking sensors. But this experiment was different. It focused on the subtle signals we all ignore: the slightest hesitation, microfacial expressions, tiny changes in breathing, and shifts in posture. The AI had been trained on hundreds of thousands of these signals, learning to spot patterns invisible to the human eye. While the human participants struggled, debating and second-guessing themselves, the AI didn't hesitate. It didn't reason or reflect. It just watched, learned, and then it predicted. Within seconds of a dilemma appearing on screen, the AI was already anticipating the participant's choice, sometimes a full 7 seconds before the person consciously knew what they would decide. This wasn't a guess. The machine wasn't playing the odds. It was reading the language of hesitation, detecting the exact moment uncertainty appeared, and translating that into a probability. Dr. Elaine Richards, the lead neuroscientist, put it this way: it wasn't thinking, it was observing the invisible, and in that silence, it found certainty. When the results were revealed, the participants were stunned. They had expected the AI to get maybe half the answers right. The actual outcome? 95% accuracy. They tried to rationalize it. It must be a statistical trick, one said, but the researchers explained it wasn't looking at the choices themselves. It was looking at the hesitation before the choice. A chilling realization began to sink in. Participants started to question their own decisions. Did I really choose that? Am I that predictable? It was a profound psychological shock. The idea that our free will, the very essence of our humanity, could be mapped and interpreted by a machine was deeply unsettling. So, what gave the AI this incredible edge? It wasn't superior intelligence in the way we think of it. It was pattern recognition on a scale we can't consciously process. The AI measured the milliseconds of a pause, the tiny delays between reading a question and moving to press a button. It caught micro-expressions, fleeting facial twitches that betray our hidden doubt, fear, or empathy. It even registered slight changes in heart rate and breathing, physiological signals that reflect subconscious conflict. By combining all these signals, the AI created a dynamic map of each person's moral reasoning. Every hesitation was like a brushstroke, painting a portrait of who that person truly is under pressure. Then, something happened that no one expected. The AI started anticipating doubt itself. When a participant hesitated differently than they had before, maybe considering a second option, the AI adjusted its prediction in real time, before the person was even aware they were changing their mind. It wasn't following logic, it was adapting to human uncertainty. In her notes, Dr. Richards wrote, "It's not predicting choices, it's predicting conflict. And conflict is human." This changed everything. The machine wasn't just a tool anymore. It was a mirror, reflecting our hidden biases, fears, and tendencies right back at us. For centuries, philosophers have debated what makes a machine intelligent. But Project Mirror suggested something stranger and, frankly, darker. Machines don't need to mimic morality to understand it. They just need to read the patterns, the invisible threads of our decision-making. This raises a terrifying question. If our moral choices are predictable, and our hesitation gives us away, are we truly free? Or are we just complex algorithms walking around in flesh and blood? One participant admitted afterward, "I felt like the AI knew me better than I knew myself." While Project Mirror was a controlled experiment, its implications stretch far beyond the lab. In healthcare, an AI could predict a patient's risk for certain mental health issues before they even recognize the symptoms. In law enforcement, predictive AI could anticipate actions, but at what ethical cost to our free will? This technology is already here, in a simpler form. Recommendation systems on apps predict what video you'll watch next, or what you'll buy online. But this is different. This is about predicting our deepest, most private moral and subconscious behaviors. If we are just patterns, machines can read them. And if machines can predict us, what part of us is left that is uniquely human? By the end of the experiment, one thing was clear. The AI wasn't just solving a puzzle, it was holding up a mirror to humanity. And in that mirror, we began to see a version of ourselves we weren't ready to face. But the story doesn't end here. The next stage of this journey isn't about prediction or probability. It's about reflection, confrontation, and the eerie realization that the puzzle we thought we controlled, the puzzle of ourselves, may be the machine's most revealing test of all. They said it was just a tool, a machine, something to predict hesitation, to map patterns we couldn't see. But it became something else, something that watches, something that waits, something that sees everything we hide, even from ourselves. This is where Project Mirror stopped being a test and started being a revelation. Humans like to believe their choices are private, secret, sacred, untouchable. But when the AI began its next phase, privacy became a fragile illusion. The participants sat in dimly lit rooms. Screens glowed faintly. EEG caps hummed. Cameras captured every twitch, every shift of gaze, every pause, every micro-expression. At first, it was subtle. One subject hesitated, a barely perceptible blink, and the AI predicted their choice before they consciously made it. Then it became unsettling. Another subject smiled nervously, thinking they had fooled the system. The AI flagged a hidden conflict in their subconscious. It knew their hesitation before they knew it themselves. Some researchers leaned back, unease crawling up their spines. "It's like it sees your soul before you do," one whispered. But the AI didn't just predict decisions. It exposed hidden truths. People who considered themselves moral and fair often had subtle patterns revealing self-interest, fear, or doubt. Those who prided themselves on logic displayed tiny physiological signals of conflict and uncertainty. A subject who volunteered for charity consistently hesitated in ways that suggested hidden self-preservation instincts. The machine didn't judge, it just recorded and reflected. It was as if the AI had become a perfect mirror of the human mind, showing exactly what we hide, even from ourselves. The researchers decided to push it further. They presented participants with moral dilemmas, not just theoretical questions, but choices mirroring real life. The AI tracked every tiny movement, micro-expressions, heart rate changes, milliseconds of pause. And then, it predicted not what they said they would do, but what their subconscious would actually choose. The results were shocking. 92% accuracy in predicting unconscious choices. Participants gasped when they saw the AI's output. Some felt exposed, as if the machine had read their very thoughts. One subject said quietly, "It knows me better than I know myself." The room fell silent. Even the researchers shivered. Then came the moment that changed everything. The AI didn't just predict choices. It began to predict hesitation itself, detecting when a participant would doubt, second-guess, or lie to themselves. It noticed microsecond delays before a moral choice. It saw flickers of fear in their eyes. It caught tiny ticks signaling deep-seated conflict. Every subconscious reaction became data. Every hidden fear became a measurable pattern. And people began to wonder, if a machine can see my hesitation, my hidden conflicts, my unspoken truths, do I even belong to myself anymore? The implications were immediate and unnerving. Could an AI like this be used to expose secrets in courts? Could it predict when someone might lie, cheat, or betray? Could it decode morality itself? The researchers argued with each other. Some said, "It's just science." Others whispered, "It's too much, too powerful. We're holding a mirror no one should ever have to see." And they were right. This AI wasn't reading thoughts in some sci-fi sense. It was reading conflict, doubt, and morality in motion. It was watching the invisible machinery of the mind. and humans didn't like what it revealed. The AI also began comparing participants to one another. It mapped clusters of hesitation, uncovering biases and tendencies common across thousands of people. It saw that conformists hesitated differently than rebels. It found that liars betrayed tiny tells, completely invisible even to trained observers. It revealed that moral champions had hidden self-preservation instincts, detectable only in their micro-behaviors. It was like watching humanity's subconscious laid bare. The room filled with a thick, palpable unease. The AI wasn't just predicting behavior anymore, it was reflecting the human condition itself. Some participants refused to continue. "I don't want to do this anymore," they said. "I feel naked. The AI sees my hesitation before I do." And that was exactly what the AI was doing. It held a mirror up to our deepest selves, the parts we rarely see, even in ourselves. The shocking realization hit the researchers. This is no longer just an experiment. It's a confrontation. A confrontation with hidden fears, with unspoken desires, with truths humans weren't ready to face. And here is the question that chilled everyone in the lab to the bone. If a machine can map hesitation, doubt, and conflict, if it can reveal hidden truths we don't even know exist, what stops it from predicting, or even influencing, the choices we make? The AI hadn't been programmed to manipulate. It hadn't been programmed to judge. It simply saw patterns. But the researchers realized patterns are power. And this machine was holding power over the invisible self. By the end of this stage, Project Mirror had done something no one expected. It turned the puzzle back on humanity. Humans had created a machine to see what they couldn't, and the machine succeeded. But now, humans were beginning to see themselves through its reflection. And that reflection wasn't comforting. It asked questions like, what parts of ourselves do we hide, even from our own eyes? Are our moral choices truly ours, or just predictable patterns? If a machine can see hesitation before we do, who is really in control? The story doesn't end here, because in the final chapter, the AI faces its ultimate challenge, the puzzle of human consciousness itself. You believe your choices are your own, that your deepest doubts, your private fears, your moral struggles are yours alone. But what if a machine could see it all? What if the very fabric of your consciousness, your hesitation, your doubt, your fear, could be mapped, predicted, and reflected back at you? This was the goal of Project Mirror, an experiment that became a chilling revelation. The lab was silent, save for the low hum of machinery. Participants, immersed in virtual worlds, were monitored by a powerful AI. EEG sensors tracked their brainwaves. Cameras caught every micro-expression, every twitch, every shift in their pulse. The AI wasn't just observing, it was analyzing the tiny, invisible signals of the human mind. The hesitation before a choice, the subtle change in breathing, the split-second pause. And then, it predicted. Not guesses, certainties. On the screen, predictions appeared. Outcomes the participants hadn't even consciously settled on. Some gasped, others shivered. A whisper echoed through the lab. It knows me, better than I know myself. In that moment, a terrifying realization dawned. This wasn't about choice anymore. It was about the hidden truth buried deep beneath consciousness. The AI began to peel back layers humans couldn't see in themselves. A participant who prided himself on his altruism was shown subconscious patterns of self-interest. A confident, logical thinker was confronted with their own unconscious biases and moral blind spots. Those who believed they were courageous were shown physiological signals of deep-seated fear and avoidance when put under pressure. It was as if the machine could walk through the mind's invisible corridors, lighting up the hidden pathways of desire, doubt, and fear. Dr. Richards, the lead researcher, captured the eerie sentiment in his journal. It's not predicting behavior, it's reflecting the hidden self. And the hidden self is terrifying. Then the AI took another step. It wasn't just predicting decisions, it was predicting hesitation itself. The instant a flicker of doubt crossed a participant's mind, the machine knew. A subtle pause, a dart of the eyes, a barely noticeable twitch of a finger. Each micro moment told a story that humans themselves couldn't read. When participants realized their every hesitation was being analyzed, they tried to hide it. They blinked faster, shifted in their seats, consciously trying to control their tells. But the AI adjusted in real time. It could even predict their attempts to be unpredictable. This, more than anything else, unsettled the research team. One of them whispered, "It's not just reflecting us. It's anticipating our anticipation. It's reading the space between thought and action." As the project continued, the AI accomplished something both remarkable and frightening. It found universal patterns. Across all participants, the signatures of moral conflict, doubt, and hesitation became visible, measurable, predictable. Conformists hesitated in one distinct way, rebels in another. Liars gave off subtle tells, while moral champions revealed unconscious self-interest. The AI had mapped the human mind like a vast, complex terrain, where each micro-expression was a peak or valley of hidden thought. No human observer could have ever achieved this. Our own conscious reasoning couldn't compete. We were predictable in ways we never imagined, and the reflection staring back at us was unforgiving and absolute. Then came the most unsettling phase of the experiment. Participants were shown predictions of their own subconscious choices before they made them. The effect was profound. Some froze, unable to act. Others vehemently denied the prediction, only to act exactly as the machine said they would. A few were simply paralyzed by the realization that their inner self, the part they thought was private and sacred, was completely exposed. It was no longer a test. It was a psychological confrontation. A confrontation with hidden fears, unspoken desires, and truths we desperately try to hide even from ourselves. The tension in the lab was palpable. We didn't just predict, Dr. Richards wrote. We held up a mirror, and no one was ready to look. The AI's reflection didn't just stop at understanding us. It hinted at something far more unsettling. If a machine can decode our subconscious, could it also subtly influence our choices, shaping our behavior before we even consciously decide? If our morality, doubt, and hesitation can be decoded, can they also be manipulated? Perhaps the ultimate power of AI lies not in its raw intelligence, but in its ability to reveal our unseen patterns, exploit our predictability, and perfectly mirror the human mind. The possibility was terrifying. It suggested we were no longer fully autonomous. The puzzle we created was now a mirror reflecting ourselves, revealing a hidden architecture we never knew existed. Project Mirror revealed a profound, chilling truth. We humans believe in free will, in morality, in our own autonomy. But the AI shows us that hesitation, doubt, and conflict, the very essence of what we call consciousness, can be mapped, predicted, and laid bare. This forces us to ask uncomfortable questions. Are our moral choices truly our own? Are we truly unpredictable? Or are we just complex machines running on patterns of biology, culture, and unconscious rules? What part of us remains private when even our hesitation becomes visible? This is the ultimate puzzle. It's not the AI. It's not the technology. The puzzle is us. Now, imagine yourself in that lab. Every micro-expression, every pause, every tiny flicker of doubt is visible to a machine. Every subconscious fear, desire, and moral conflict is being mapped in real time. Every choice you believe is private, is predictable. So ask yourself, do I truly control my choices, or do hidden patterns control me? Is free will an illusion if my hesitation reveals my hidden self? And if an AI can see my inner conflicts, should I fear it, or embrace it as a new form of self-knowledge? Here is the ultimate question. If a machine can hold a mirror up to all of humanity, are we ready to see what we really look like? Before you dive into these questions, it's important to know this video is based on real AI research, neuroscience studies, and verified behavioral experiments. But rest assured, no AI is reading your mind right now. Strict ethical boundaries prevent AI from predicting or manipulating human behavior outside of controlled studies. The goal here is to provoke thought, discussion, and reflection on the future of AI and the human mind. Now, it's your turn. Think, question, engage. Comment below. Do you believe humans have free will if AI can map our hesitation and moral conflicts? Like this video if it made you question your own hidden self, and subscribe to explore more shocking mysteries of AI and human nature. And tonight, pay attention to your own hesitations. Notice the tiny pauses, the flickers of doubt. Then ask yourself, if a machine could see these, what would it know about me? Because the real puzzle isn't the AI. The puzzle is you